This is an Olympic and powerlifting program. This is phase 2 workout or session number 4. So assuming that you've already gone through session 1, you should know what's going on. But just in case you're just coming to this video randomly, you want to check out my intro video, and then you want to probably do phase 1 so that you understand the sets and the reps and that you'll have progressed appropriately. But assuming you've done all that, let's start with a rollout, foam rollout, which actually, oh, here it is. I'm going to get my foam roller, and yeah, again, if you've gone through phase 1 already, I've talked about this a little bit, but you know, this is a massage. You got to keep yourself massaged. This is really important to speed up your recovery. You can really make faster gains, recover faster, if you incorporate some of these therapeutic modalities here. And this is one that's really basic. This is a really cheap device that you can find at most gyms. So use it, try it out. And there's a little bit of a learning curve to understanding how to address certain muscles and to understand which ones where exactly you need to be rolling out and how intensely or how much weight you should be putting onto a given area. But I really encourage you to play with it and make it your friend. Great, so the next thing you're going to want to do for session 4 is a pretzel stretch and roll. So for here, I'm going to cross one leg over the other, like I'm going to get ready for a pretzel stretch, but then I'm just going to roll to the side. I'll try to let my shoulders stay pretty flat here, and I'll feel the stretch on my kind of my medial glute area. Get both sides on that. And then we'll go for some push-up walkout holds. So you're going to get into a push-up position. You're going to walk your hands out as far as you feel like you can while not falling into an arched back position. And then you just and you hold that for a time. And it really is going to get your abs and your lats too. Quads too, really. And then you're going to go for a child's pose stretch. Kneeling down, reach your arms out, sit your hips back to your heels, and hold this stretch. It feels pretty nice. And then your standing calf stretch. So basically take a split stance, step one foot back, but have the heel down on the ground of the back leg so that you feel that stretch in your calf. And then last warm-up one will be some kettlebell swings. So just get your kettlebell split stance, and I'm going to want a hip hinge motion, reaching the weight back. So this is your bottom position, and then I'm going to extend the hips through and bring the weight overhead, and it's a continuous motion. Make sure though, when you're coming into this catch phase and then loading up, that I'm not loading a rounded spine. I need to keep even a little bit of arch in my spine when I'm at this part of the motion. And then from there, I can also choose to go just to eye level, but I'm squeezing my hips to drive the weight up and then pulling the weight up with my shoulders. Okay, now we're on to the strength exercises. And the first one's going to be a power snatch. So basically here, I'm getting my weight from the ground to overhead in one efficient, quick movement. But it's broken down into parts. But you can think of it in parts and see what's going on in each part. First, the setup. You're going to have your wider snatch grip here. You can use the hook grip as well for this. Your feet are going to be somewhere around hip width, heels down with about hip width, maybe a little bit wider. And then I come down and grab the bar, and I want to load up by sitting the hips down. Shoulders though are still in front of the bar. Shoulder blades are squeezed tight. I feel like I'm spring loaded in my legs, and my eyes are gazing in front of me. Now for the first part of the movement, I'm going to go through from the middle of my shin to the top of my knee. And at that point, with the torso angle, you saw how it stayed the same through that part. I'm just extending my knees and my hips a little bit, holding the bar tight and not letting it get out in front of me, keeping my shoulder blades tight so it's riding in a straight line up. Now the second part of the movement will be where I sweep the bar into my hips while I bring my hips forward a little bit. Then the third part will be the springing up and the pulling of the weight. Okay, so that's where you want to be here. You don't want to be here with the knees extended and just hips, because then I'm just going to end up swinging the weight out in front of me. I got to keep it close to me to be as efficient as possible on this. So I want to be from here and then up to here, pulling the weight up along the line of my body. So now, at this moment in time, I'm fully extended, I'm pulling on the bar, and then from here, I'm going to do a drop and a catch. Drop down, heel contact, hips go back, knees bend a little bit, and I press the weight so it's straight over my midline, straight over my shoulders. And that's all gonna happen, and then stand up with it. And that's all gonna happen in one fluid motion. So the first part of the pull, which I'll show you, is a controlled, slower pull. And then once I get past the knee, I gotta link all of those three other parts. It's gotta happen boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let's try it out. Get set up tight, first part slow, and then I explode through the second, third, and fourth parts of the snatch. And you can watch my feet on this one. I'm gonna start in a little bit narrower stance, and then I'll maybe come out a little bit wider. Now another thing to think about on this, or consideration on this, is bringing the weight down. So we wanna bring it down in a controlled manner, otherwise and this is a little tricky. So what I like to do is I like to just lean back, and the weight will actually lightly skim my torso as I come down, and then I'll catch it back with bent knees. Okay, so when I bring it down, I receive the weight into the hips and try to absorb the landing. Good, so that's your power snatch. Next you're gonna do some barbell or dumbbell front step lunges. And if I did barbell, I'd probably want to rack it on my back rack. And then, for this one, I'm just stepping forward into it, dropping the back knee back, and then pushing off from the front heel to drive me out of the bottom. I can do the same kind of motion with, just holding onto a pair of dumbbells right by my side here. Now, the thing to pay attention to, though, is making sure you have a really good knee angle. So I don't want my knee to cave in, and I don't want my heel to lift off the ground and have my knee shoot forward, because that's going to make it so I'm only loading my knee. What I'm trying to do is also to develop the back of my leg, get the back of my leg in control of this motion, because I'm going to have a lot more power, a lot more stability. It's going to be a safer movement. And oh yeah, we got snatch pulls next, snatch pulls. So I'm just coming back to the bar here, and I'm going to work just on the part of the movement up until where I extend my hips. So it's basically like a deadlift, except for I'm going to do it with a snatch grip, and I'm going to have the mentality that thinking like I'm going to snatch this weight, and it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit heavier than anything that you would be snatching, or at least compared to your power snatch, you're going to be doing more weight for your snatch deadlift. And just getting used to coming through this motion with a little bit more weight. And this is just 3 parts: the setup, up to the knee, sweeping it in, and then extending. So I guess it's 4 parts. And then bring it down and sort of do the reverse motion on the way back down. You may want straps for this exercise, okay? I wish I had some with me to demo how to set the straps up, but Olympic lifting straps, holding on to extra heavy weight out here can be a lot. It's really tough to hook grip that, and it's also tough to just conventionally hold on to that. So you might want to put straps on it. It can tend to beat up your hands a little bit. The same thing really goes for the clean pulls that you do in session 3, I believe. So consider investing in some Olympic lifting straps. I'll talk about that more in phase 3. But okay, good. Then we've got the next one we've got are some dip holds. So if you had just a straight bar to do dips on, then that would be awesome. I have these rings, which I can do the same basic principle on this. And basically what I'm going to do is first you have to be able to press out. So coming up onto your rings and being able to stabilize and press out. And the difference between rings and straight bar is I'm having to work extra hard to not let the rings pull me out. I have to squeeze in, and then I'm pressing straight down, bracing my abdominals, flexing my legs, extending my hips. Okay, so if I can press out well enough, then I'll try to go down. And when I go down, I have to have this angle forward. So let your shoulders come forward, drive your elbows back, and this is where you'll end up at the bottom. And you want to try to get full depth on this exercise, and then press through from there. Now what I don't want to do when I come down into it is I don't want to round and shrug my shoulders and have my elbows flare out. I got to stay here. So I want to see how I'm opening up the shoulders a lot more here, driving the elbows back a lot more here. Shoulder blades are squeezed together. All right, then another one we can do with, and this you could do if you just had a pull-up bar. That's perfect for this. And I don't have a pull-up bar in here, so I'm just going to demo on these rings here. But you have to have a setup where when you reach it, your legs are going to be hanging free, so it's tall enough so that when you're holding onto it, your legs are swinging free. And this, I'd actually want this a little bit higher for me, but I can basically show you what it is here. This is the hanging knee lifts. And so I'm hanging, so I'm fully extended overhead, but I'm active with my shoulder blades. Okay, so pulling down a little bit, being active there, especially as I work to lift my knees. That's how I'm going to initiate my knee lift, by the kind of pulling down of my shoulders. Knees up, and then straight back down. And try to do it with control so that you don't swing too much, okay? And if you do start swinging, then the key is to kick up on your back swing. So if I kick up on the back swing, I'll be slowing down my swing a little bit. All right, so that's it for session 4, phase 2. Well, so now you want to do your cardio, and I talk about the cardio exercises in another video.